Welcome, friends. Come on in, grab a seat in the living room, and make yourselves comfortable. Tonight, we're throwing a super casual but absolutely mind-blowing explainer tasting party. As your resident sommelier, I'm here to let you in on a little secret. We are going to completely democratize fine wine. So forget the crisp white tablecloths and the impossibly expensive porcelain. Tonight, we're taking the world's most complex, beautiful wines and pairing them directly with our favorite unapologetic fast foods.
First things first, I need you to take all those rigid, pretentious wine rules you've heard over the years and just drop them at the door. Seriously, leave them outside. Are you ready to pair a greasy burger with a beautiful aged Bordeaux? Because we're about to explore the real, undeniable molecular harmony of everyday comfort food. And I promise you, this isn't a joke or a gimmick, it's pure chemistry.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever thought about why you desperately crave a specific fast food burger or that one brand of chips? It's definitely not an accident. As our source material perfectly points out, junk food is an absolute engineering masterpiece. It's not quote-unquote bad food in a scientific sense. It's simply flavor science that has been perfectly optimized to light up our brains. It's really a triumph of mass-market palate engineering.
To really understand our pairings tonight, we have to talk about something called the Bliss Point. This is the exact, surgically calibrated balance of salt, sugar, and fat that triggers maximum dopamine. It literally gives you irresistible flavor without making you feel immediately full, which is exactly why you keep going back for more. This dopamine-hitting formula is the baseline we're working with here. And when we bring fine wine to this party, we're elevating an instinctual late-night craving into a highly intellectual yet totally accessible sensory experience.
Section 1. The foundation. Fat, salt, and flavor science.
Let's demystify the two biggest players in junk food, fat and salt. Fat densely coats your palate in an oily film. Now that makes food taste super rich, but it exhausts your taste buds really fast. It essentially demands a sharp weapon to cut through that heavy embrace. Salt, on the other hand, is a sommelier's absolute best friend. It's this magical suppressor of bitterness. Think about it. If you have a wine that tastes a little too harsh or bitter on its own, a bite of something salty acts as a peacemaker. It instantly makes that wine taste smoother, fruitier, and incredibly vibrant.
Section 2. The cleaners. Acidity and bubbles.
Think of it this way. When you eat a French fry, the fat creates a stubborn, water-repelling film right on your tongue. If you drink water, it just slides uselessly right over the oil. But if you take a sip of sparkling wine, the carbonation bubbles act like microscopic scrub brushes, physically lifting that fat away. Then, the wine's acidity sweeps in like a liquid squeegee, a chemical scalpel, if you will, dissolving whatever grease is left and completely refreshing your mouth for the very next bite.
Then we have tannins. These are the compounds in red wine that kind of dry your mouth out. Think of tannins as elegant dance partners who desperately need a protein or fat to dance with. If they find a juicy burger, they soften right up and glide perfectly. But if you pair them with a starchy, salty snack that has zero protein, they literally have nobody to dance with. Instead, they'll awkwardly react with your saliva and end up tasting bitter or metallic. Nobody wants that.
Section 3. The main event. Taming burgers with bold breads.
All right, friends, it's time for the first main course of our little get-together. We really have to contrast the style of the burger here. A classic fast food burger from a global chain is basically engineered for sweet predictability. You've got sugary buns, sweet ketchup, processed cheese. Because of that, you want a soft, fruity wine like a Merlot or a Zinfandel that just hugs that sweetness. But an artisanal gourmet burger, that's all about the smoky, charred crust, the beautiful Maillard reaction. For that intense, meaty flavor, you need a wine with serious grip, like a bold, peppery Syrah or a structured Cabernet Sauvignon to stand up to the smoke.
And this brilliantly illustrates one of the greatest high-low pairings of all time. The classic quarter pounder with an Argentine Malbec. Guys, it is a masterpiece. The juicy beef anchors the wine's tannins. The Malbec's incredibly dense, jammy fruit acts like a giant flavor sponge, completely absorbing the harshness of the raw onion while complementing the sweet ketchup. Meanwhile, the oak aging in the wine perfectly balances the sharp acidity of the pickle. It's a robust, insanely satisfying harmony.
Section 4. The main event. Pizza and the acid test.
Let's move on to everyone's absolute favorite delivery food. The biggest challenge with pizza is actually the tomato sauce. It's highly concentrated and extremely acidic. If you pair it with a delicate white wine, the tomato will completely flatten the wine, making it taste metallic. You have to fight acid with acid, which is exactly why Italian Sangiovese or Chianti is a genetic match for pizza. But if you load that pizza up with spicy fatty pepperoni or sausage, you're going to need a rustic, tannin-rich red like a Nebbiolo to dissolve that intensely spiced fat.
But what about the modern delivery pizza? You know, the one with extra cheese and the notorious stuffed crust? That is a dense bomb of carbs and dairy that'll give you palate fatigue after one slice. So here's a fun sommelier secret for your next party. Grab a bottle of Dry Lambrusco. It's a sparkling red wine and you serve it chilled. Its dark fruit flavors and fizzy red bubbles will mechanically lift that heavy, doughy cheese right off your palate, making every single slice taste just as vibrant as the very first one.
Section 5. The deep fryer, champagne, and French fries. Now for the absolute undisputed king of high-low gastronomy. The crucial point you have to remember is this: champagne and French fries are total soulmates. Remember our scrub brushes from earlier? Deep frying creates that stubborn lipid film that water just can't clean. But champagne's fizzy bubbles mechanically scrub your tongue, while its razor-sharp acidity emulsifies the oil. And here's the poetic part. Champagne is aged on yeast, a process called autolysis, which gives it notes of toasted brioche and almonds. These baking notes romantically echo the earthy, toasted flavor of the golden potato. It's magic.
Section 6. The sommelier's cheat sheet.
I know we've covered a ton of flavor science tonight, so here is your cheat sheet for your next weekend takeout order. We've got our fries and bubbles, our burger and Malbec, but look at the bottom two on this list: a glazed donut with Moscato d'Asti. The wine has to be sweeter than the dessert to avoid tasting bitter, and the bubbles lift away the fryer oil. Or how about a loaded hot dog with a chilled Beaujolais? A hot dog is a completely chaotic mix of sweet ketchup, sharp mustard, and salty meat. Beaujolais has high, juicy fruit to tie those crazy flavors together and zero harsh tannins to clash with the vinegar. The rule is always to seek palate-refreshing harmony over complicated snobbery.
Section 7. The golden rule of pairing. As our tasting party draws to a close tonight, I really want you to remember this. True gastronomic joy isn't about expensive porcelain, dressing up, or elitism. It's about what happens in your mouth. It's the pure, molecular harmony of what's in your glass and what's sitting right there on your paper plate. The greatest wines in the world aren't meant to be locked away in dusty cellars. They're meant to act as a chemical counterbalance to the foods that genuinely bring us comfort and joy.
So my friends, I leave you with this final thought. What is your next high-low pairing going to be? The next time you open a delivery app or pull your car into a drive-thru, I want you to look at that fast food menu as a total blank canvas. Grab a bottle, experiment with the science of flavor, let the bubbles scrub your palate, and most importantly, have a blast doing it. Thanks so much for joining me in the living room for this explainer, and cheers to your next great pairing.